Eutrophication is a process in which a body of water, such as a lake, gains an excess of nutrients. This process can be natural, occurring over thousands of years, but human activities have caused eutrophication to happen at an unnatural rate. These human activities are referred to as anthropogenic. Anthropogenic essentially means that they are caused by or correlated with human activity. This is a very valuable buzzword for talking about climate change and how we as humans can impact our environment. Unnatural eutrophication, or cultural eutrophication, is the rapid introduction of nutrients to water, and is accelerated by activities like agriculture. Agricultural runoff is the water from farm fields that flows over the surface of the earth, pushed by irrigation, rain, and snow, that can absorb into the ground, evaporate, or enter bodies of water. This water often contains soil particles, pathogens, harmful pesticides and herbicides, toxic metals, salts, and the nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus that help algae grow. What happens with eutrophication? To explain this, let's talk a little bit about algae. Algae are plants that grow anywhere with water, like ponds, lakes, streams, damp rocks, waterfalls, oceans, and even puddles. They can include tiny organisms like phytoplankton, and larger organisms like seaweed or macroalgae. Algae are photosynthetic, meaning they take in sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide, produce sugars, and release oxygen into the surrounding water. With just this, algae can produce flourishing populations. Algae also depend on nutrients, especially nitrogen and phosphorus, to support their growth and reproduction. With eutrophication, the influx of nutrients into bodies of water allow algae to grow exponentially more. Agricultural runoff, changes in rainfall, sea level rise, and coastal upwelling are a few processes that lead to algae growth. While algae are helpful for healthy ecosystems, huge populations of algae are not. Some algae can be harmful, reducing water quality by producing harmful chemicals and odors and taking up a lot of space. When a lot of algae grow on the surface of a lake, they can block the wavelengths of sunlight that other plants need to grow underwater. Without access to sunlight, aquatic plants cannot grow or continue to photosynthesize, causing them to die off. This alone results in a large decrease in the amount of oxygen produced in bodies of water. Large areas of water with very low oxygen concentrations are referred to as dead zones. While there are little to no plants or other organisms, since dissolved oxygen is crucial for many underwater species. Then, as aquatic plants, and eventually the algae themselves, die off, aerobic or oxygen-dependent decomposers begin to break them down. These microorganisms continue to deplete the water of oxygen as decomposition progresses. This affects populations of many different species, including plants and certain organisms with shells. Along with decreased ecosystem productivity, cultural eutrophication affects the economy, as some shellfish are harvested for commercial and recreational fisheries. With reduced catch, seafood becomes more expensive. This applies to larger fish as well. Every year, the Gulf of Mexico experiences a dead zone over thousands of square miles large, leading to fish kills, with 2017 experiencing the most notable kill involving a bloom of red tide algae over 10,000 square miles large. Eutrophication also affects how we interact with local water bodies. As algae cover the surface of the water, they can block water systems, making it harder for boats to navigate and swimming potentially dangerous. Human-accelerated eutrophication is a big problem. So what can we do? Although cultural eutrophication has many causes, the major solution is controlling agricultural runoff. Runoff can come from big farms, but it can also come from right nearby. Plants get nutrients from the soil. Nitrogen is an important nutrient that is fixed by soil microorganisms, meaning it is captured from the air, turned into usable materials, and stored. In order for plants to grow bigger and faster, we use fertilizers. Fertilizers are substances that we add to soil to help crops grow, and they help replenish the nutrients that crops suck up from the soil. Fertilizers are not bad. You may even use them in your backyard, but they contain nitrogen and phosphorus along with other compounds and chemicals that can flow into surface water and leach into groundwater. They are then carried to local streams and lakes and can also enter our drinking water. The problem is when we use too much fertilizer, and the excess gets washed away into our local watersheds, leading to algal growth and the effects that come with that. Amazingly, only about half of the nitrogen in human-created industrial fertilizers is used by crops, while the rest gets washed away or enters the atmosphere. Chemists and biologists are working on ways to design fertilizers that will release nitrogen more slowly, to genetically engineer crops that require less nitrogen or fix their own nitrogen, though this can be controversial, and to control the growth of nitrogen-fixing bacteria in soil surrounding the plants that need it. There are some things you can do at home too. Mainly, switch to organic fertilizers for your lawns. These break down more slowly to release nutrients into the soil, limiting the amount of excess available to harm local environments. You can also switch to compost manure, which has lower amounts of nitrates and phosphates. Also, look closely at your soaps and detergents. Some of these household products contain phosphates, one of the nutrients that, if washed into water bodies, contributes to algal growth. Look for phosphate-free replacements. Luckily, there are a bunch of phosphate-free products available to choose from. Some other quick changes to be mindful include using water efficiently in your homes and lawns, picking up your pet waste, and choosing native plants for your gardens that require less fertilizer. The good news is that there are ways to reduce our impact on bodies of water to keep our ecosystems healthy and thriving. Make sure to check out the bio under this video for more ways you can help out at home. Thanks for watching!